All right, we're back. Part 4B of exercise number 2. We're working on this project called Jeff's Beverage. And earlier I did the one part of the building called the liquor side, or what I'll call the liquor side, and we connected that to heat pump number 3. And then I said I was going to do the rest off camera, and I put out all the information of all the rooms. I actually put the rooms in and the square footages, but I left some of the things that are different that we need to change. And so let's take a look real quick at what needs to be changed, because this building is different from the one from before. This is a 2-story building and there's different conditions. So let's go to HP1. We're talking about the sales area number 1. And if we look at the plans, sales area number 1 is this side of the building. The part that's a 2-story, 2-story high, but it's only 1 floor with a high ceiling. It has some exposures, 61 feet. What is that, northwest, and then some distance. And I changed this a little bit, and I'll explain why. So let's take a look at that. I would call that sales 1. And this thing is, and I mentioned the program freaks out when some information doesn't match. So it won't let me leave until I fix this. I was confused earlier, trying to explain what was happening. This doesn't like when the floor area on the floors tab is bigger than the floor area on the general tab. So the floor area is 3,502 feet. So we'll have to make sure we enter that. 3,502 square feet. So let's go back to the general tab and start adjusting things. As I mentioned, this is a high ceiling. And when we copied this from an earlier project, it had a 10-foot ceiling. But when we look at the building, and we did this earlier for the liquor side, we noticed that it has a 24-foot high wall, and we figured out there's some structure underneath the roof, and we made the average ceiling height about 20 feet. So let's change that. We'll change the average ceiling height to 20 feet. We'll move to the internals tab, and that's basically information we get from the spreadsheet. We punch that in, sales 1 right here, row number 22. We'll get 53 people in and 409 CFM. So 53 people in, and the outdoor airflow is 409 CFM. So that's correct. Internals is good. The walls, windows, and doors, it has 2 exposures. One is northwest, the northwest exposure. When we go back to the floor plan, and remember in the 4A, in the video 4A, I kind of drew this arrow when we found out the orientation of the building. I kind of drew this arrow to show where north is. So we know that this is northwest, 61 feet. It has two windows type A, and I actually made a decision to call this door the same size as the windows. And let's look at the elevations and see if that makes sense. It's a little bigger. I'm going to stick with that. So it says here it's 61 feet, and if we just looked at this, the height of the wall, it's 24 feet, 61 feet long. There's 3 windows A, and of course there's no shading. We talked about that. Then let's look at the other elevation, the other exposure, exposure number 2. I decided to combine all these spaces into one. There's such little space for the humidors, 134 feet out of 3,300 square feet, and then this little tiny office. It's really not going to make that big a difference. So I combine all these dimensions here. And earlier I actually split them up, but now I decided to combine them again. That dimension is now 59 feet. So we have a wall that's 59 feet, it's 24 feet high, and it has one window there, window B. Let's go back and look at that. Did I say 53 or 59? I forget. 59. So let's fix that. I have 53. It's 59. 59 right here. And then it's got one window, type E. And we're done with this tab. Then roof and skylights. It does have a roof. It's the same area of the roof is the same as the floor area, and it's horizontal as we discussed earlier. The outdoor airflow comes right out of the spreadsheet. Let's double check the spreadsheet. It's 3502. If we punch 3502, we get 409 CFM of outside air. So outdoor airflow, 409 CFM of outside air. And that's done. That area is done. We can actually click on the HP1, right click on it, print and view load results, preview, and the program will run the calculations for us. We'll wait a few seconds and let's see what spit out. It says here the sales area needs 6.1 tons. The 409 CFM of outside air, and it says the load occurs sometime in June at 4 p.m. Again, as we did on the liquor side, it's almost an identical type of occupancy. It's an identical type occupancy. It's just that the walls are facing in a different direction. But it's very similar. The biggest loads is the outside air, the ventilation load, and the people inside, and then there's some overhead lighting here. And that's it. So I'm going to save this PDF as HP1. If you remember, um, we copied this from a different project that already had an HP1, but I'm going to override it with this one. See, this already exists. Are you sure you want to override it? The answer is yes. Always being careful that I'm not overwriting, that I'm in the right folder and I'm not overwriting something on a separate project. Done with that. So then this is where it gets a little interesting. Now we're going to talk about the center part of the building where it's got two floors. It's got the first floor with some spaces here, and then it's got the second floor with some spaces above it. And the reason it's interesting is because some things have to change. So the spaces are we'll call this area HP2. There's a conference room upstairs, and the way they drew this building, it really didn't make sense to me that this entire floor was going to be conference room. There's just no way that 1,800 feet of conference room, that's a big conference room. So what I said was, we're going to call this office, open office, where you put maybe a few desks for the peons. Maybe half of this backside here, we'll call the open office again. And then we'll call this area, a third of it essentially, conference room. If you remember conference room, there's 50 people per 1,000 CFM, per 1,000 square feet. So that's like 1,800 square feet. We're going to have almost 100 people in a conference room. What kind of conference are you going to have at a liquor store or a alcohol store, whatever we call the whole thing, where there's 100 people in it? They don't have 100 employees. What are they going to confer about? Where are they going to find 100 people to come and have a conference, right? So I'm going to call this open office space, and then just a part of it conference room. Still, though, there's going to be a bunch of people in just the conference room. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. Office 1, one person. Storage, that's the first floor. No people in storage, and there's four bathrooms there. And that's an office 2 upstairs. One of the spaces is called open office 1. That's 4 people in there. A third of it, as I mentioned, is the conference room, and there's still 31 people, which is a high number in my opinion. There's just no way that they're gonna have 31 people in a conference room. But the thing about it is, you got to be careful as a designer what you label the rooms, because then the engineer is gonna have to design it uh, for that designation. I kind of fudged the numbers a little bit, but uh, it's my professional opinion that even 31 people having a conference is a high number. Then there's the second office space, and there's another 4 people. So in the second floor, we're going to have 39 people. And when you think about it, it's 1,800 square feet. There's just no way they're going to have 39 people in there, plus the people in the office and all. There's just no way they'll have that. Imagine if it was 91 people. It'd be even crazier. Then we have two bathrooms upstairs, and then we have a little bit of sales area that's part of the center of the building where it has a second story. So let's go back to the calculating. Conference room, 606 square feet. It does have a 10-foot ceiling. That's correct. I remember the conference room is on the second floor. Internals, 31 people. And let's just say there is one computer in there. Walls, windows, and doors. Because I kind of chose that the conference room would be in the middle, it has no exterior exposures. None on this side, none on either side. Because it's surrounded by conditioned spaces all around. So no walls. Roof, skylights, etc. It does have 600 square feet, 606 square feet, but it's horizontal. Remember, all the roofs in this building are horizontal. Outdoor airflow. Let's go take a quick look here. Conference room, 96 CFM of outside air. And I made that half of what it should be because even if there's a conference there, it's a short-term occupancy. So it's only 96 instead of 192. I'm trying to cut down on the size of this air conditioning system just to meet the real world conditions. Floors is where you got to pay attention. This is on the second floor. It does have a floor, right? But it's a floor above conditioned space. So there's going to be no load that comes from below. If you're above a space that's the same temperature as the space you're in, then you're not going to feel the difference. Here, and I had mentioned this before, I guess it makes a little bit of difference if it's a hard floor or carpet. There's a little bit tiny amount of insulation that a carpet provides because there's a pad and then, of course, the carpet itself. But in this case, I don't think it's going to be carpeted. Office one is on the first floor. It's 177 square feet. So I like to, and I've done this in all the videos. I get this number and I go back to all the tabs that use the same number, 177 square feet. The other part would be the roof, and it's 177 square feet. But remember, there is no roof directly above office one. Directly above office one, there's office two. So this is where I was talking about. This is a different condition. There is no roof. Office one is directly below office two, which is the same temperature as office one. So there is no load. We're interested in loads from exterior exposures. So there's no roof above office one that's exposed to the exterior. Outdoor airflow, one person, office one person, and some square footage. We need 16 CFM of outside air. Floor, 177 square feet. Office two, I copied this, but I don't think it's 177. Let's go back and check that. Office two. It is 177. It's office one that's the wrong number, 189. So let's go back and fix office one, 189 square feet. 189 square feet. And let's see if the spreadsheet is right. 189, right? 189, 189. Done. Office 2 is 177. So let's fix that. 177. Floor, 177. But it's a floor above conditioned space. Office 2 is on the second floor. And look what happens here. When we click that number disappears. All of this information right here disappears because it's not going to make a difference. Office 2 is on the second floor. There's one person in there. He's doing office work. He has a computer and no other additional loads. Walls, windows, and doors. Let's double check office one. Make sure that I did that right. It's got one wall facing southeast, and it's 11 feet. Let's double check that. 10'8", which is 11 feet. There's a window there. Okay, and I think I measured that window, and I'm pretty sure I enter that. It's got one window, window C, that it's 4x4. I saw that somewhere. I think it's in the one of these plans that they gave us. Rather, if we zoom in right here, it's that window that's 4x4. It's hard to read, but that's what it says, 4x4. And if you compare the width of it to the width of a 3-foot door, then you'll see that it's approximately 4 feet, or about a third of the 11.4. Anyways, moving on. Office 1 done. Office 2, just 177 square feet. It does have a floor, but it's above conditioned space, so that's okay. It has a roof, it's horizontal. It has one exposure. And I'm trying to go from memory. Southeast. Southeast A, you have a wall, but it has no size. Well, let's pick the wall size first. It's 10 feet. And let's go back to the plan and check that. Now this is, remember, I print this plan and I have all this information shown on it, and it's a little handier that way. This one also has a window. Let's measure it real quick. It's 3 feet. I think it's 3 feet by 4 feet. Window D. So, anyways, southeast elevation 11 feet and it's 10 feet high. Let's make sure we have that. 11, 10 feet high. It has one window. I think I call that window D. Let's double check that. 3x4. That's right. So we're done with office 2. Let's save. Make all that work we did on office 2, 1, and conference room doesn't disappear. Open office 1, 604 square feet. If you remember, in an office, 200 square foot per person. Once you go past the 200, you start adding people. So this is, it should be 4 people. Internals 4. If there's 4 people, there's 4 computers. Let's say everybody gets an office. There's one elevation, one exposure, one exterior wall. The height of it is 10. The length of it is 20, and it has no windows. So we're good there. Roof and skylights. It does have a horizontal roof. That's the same size, 604 square feet. Outdoor airflow, 56 CFM. Let's check the spreadsheet on that. I deliberately left some of this stuff wrong so I could fix it and show how it's fixed. 56. 56. Floor. Again, this is floor above conditioned space because it's on the second floor of a fully conditioned building. So when I click here, this number disappeared because it doesn't matter. Save. Open office number 2. Well, let me show you what those spaces are. So I split the second floor into open office 1, open office 2, and conference room. Open office number 2 has an exterior wall that's 31 feet long, no windows, and 10 feet high. Let's find that. It's got a 10-foot ceiling. Internal, same thing, 606 feet. So there's 4 people in there, 4 computers. I essentially copied open office 1 and then changed this right here. It has one wall that's 31 feet long, 10 feet high, faces northwest, and it has no windows. So the only difference between office 1 and office 2 is the exposure of the window. I'm sorry, between open office 1 and it shouldn't have a window. Look at that, I caught a mistake there again. I almost missed. Then roofs and skylights, 604 square feet. Is it 604? Is it 606? 604. Have these wrong backwards. No, that's right. That's right. It's 606. Open office 2 is 606. Open office 1, it's 604. So open office 2, 606, 606, 606. This doesn't matter though because it's on the second floor. Once we call it floor above conditioned space, it goes away. If it's slab on grade, it matters, but with the floor above conditioned space, it doesn't. It does have a roof. That is 606. 6. And that's why it was 604 because I copied it from Office 1 and Office 1 was 604. Let's start from the beginning. 606, 10 feet high. Internals is 4 people with their 4 computers. There's one wall. facing northwest. It's 31 feet long, 10 feet high, and it has no windows. It has a roof that's horizontal. It has some outside air, no exhaust, right? And it has a floor, but it's above conditioned space. Sales number 2. Okay, that's the little tricky um, retail part. Sales number 2 is on the first floor. It's 1,170 square feet. It has one wall facing northwest that's 30 feet long, and it has one window type A. When the sales number 2 is this little area here, it's it has a floor, but it doesn't have an exterior exposure above, so it has no roof. So let's take a look at that real quick. Sales number 2, 1,170 square feet. It has a floor that's 1,170 square feet, and when we look at the roof, it shows a roof, but I'm gonna have to delete it because, as I mentioned, it's on the first floor of a 2-story building, and the second floor is conditioned, so there's no exposure here. Internals, there's 18 people in there, possibly. Sales 2, 18 people and 138 CFM. So there's 18 people in here. We're gonna say there's 3 computers, and the outdoor airflow 138 CFM. Walls and windows, we said it had one wall that was 30 feet long, but it's not 24 feet high, right? Because there's a floor above it, so it's only 12 feet high. And I say 12 because it's 10. We go up to the ceiling plus up to the second structure. There's 2 feet that are missing between the first and second floor for the structure of the actual floor that has to be accounted somewhere. So that's 12 feet. Let's double check that in Office 1. That'll make sure I did that. There it is right there. Anyway, cells 2, there's one wall facing southeast, 30 feet long, 12 feet high, has one window type A, and there's no shading in this building. Roof and skylights, we delete the roof. Outdoor airflow 138, no exhaust, and the floor 1170. We're done with cells 2. Save that, move on to the next one. Storage, 526 feet, average ceiling height is 10. The internals is 0. We'll say though, because there's probably a receiving desk there. There might be a computer there or something like that. Now that has one exposure. That is southeast. It's 20 feet long and 12 feet high. Let's double check that. This is the storage. It's 20 feet long and it has no windows. And I ignore the doors for the most part. Roof and skylights. It would be a horizontal roof, but because it's on the first floor, directly below the second floor that's conditioned, it actually has no roof exposure. I'm not saying there isn't a roof. I'm just saying this part of the building is not exposed. It doesn't have a roof that's exposed. Outdoor airflow, 63 CFM. Let's double check that again. Storage 1 right there, 63. 63 does have a floor of 526 square feet. Good to go. Bathrooms, real quick, all the bathrooms are internal, so they have no walls. There's 4 bathrooms on the first floor. Real quick, one's 37 square feet. 37 square feet. They have no people. They have no exposures. And because it's on the first floor, it has no roof. So I'm going to delete that. Outdoor airflow, it has no outside air coming in, but it does have exhaust going out. Floor, same size. They all should be the same. What I would do with these other 4 on the first floor, I would just copy this one. That way I don't have to delete the roof every time. But this is an exercise in learning, so I'm going to have to do it just to show it. 64 square feet. 64 square feet. But there's no roof, so let's delete the roof. There's no people in there. There's no exterior walls. There's no roof exposure because it's on the first floor. The outdoor floor is no fresh air, but we do exhaust 75 square feet. Good to go here on water closet number 2, water closet number 3. Let's do the same. 51 square feet. 51 square feet. There's no people in there. There's no exterior exposures. So let's delete that. I must have copied that bathroom from somewhere. There is no roof, so let's delete the roof. Outdoor airflow, no fresh air, but there is 75 CFM of exhaust. Let's save that. What closet for? 48 square feet, 48 square feet. And you'll notice that bathrooms are, a small bathroom in most commercial spaces is around 50 square feet. Internals, no people. There's no exposures because it's an internal bathroom. So we'll delete any wall exposures. Roof and skylights. Let's delete the roof because it's on the first floor. Same thing, same flavor. 75 CFM of exhaust and 48 feet. Now, bathroom 5 and 6 are on the second floor, so they're a little different. The first one, the bathroom 5, it's bigger because it has a shower. It seems like that's the boss's office. 83 square feet. 83 square feet. There's nobody in there, and there is no computers in there. Walls, windows, and doors. It doesn't have any. It does have a roof that's 83 square feet, and it's horizontal like the rest of the building. There's no CFMs of fresh air, but there's 75 CFM of exhaust. And there's no floor because it's on the second floor, so it's floor above conditioned space. Bathroom 6 is, I would then, when I do bathroom 6, I make a copy and call it, I'm sorry, let's try that again. If I was, I would make a copy of bathroom number 5 and call it bathroom number 6, and I wouldn't have to change many things. This one probably has a floor that I'm going to have to delete, and there it is. So let's start from the beginning. 73 square feet. There's nobody in there, and there's no computers. I wonder how the computers got in the bathrooms. Let me check the rest of them and make sure that bathroom 1 has nothing. Bathroom 2 has nothing. And what I did probably bathroom 5 and 6, instead of copying a bathroom, I copied an office on the second floor. That way I would have to not worry about the floor. But then I went back and put the floor in so I can show on this video how to take it out. 73 CFM, 10 foot high, no people, no electrical load for computers or whatever, no exterior exposures. It does have a roof that's horizontal and 73 CFM square feet. Has an outdoor airflow, 0 fresh air, and 75 CFM of exhaust. And it has a floor above conditioned space. And that's it. That's the entire middle section of the building. So I'm going to save it before it panics. I'm going to click on HP number 2. Right click on it and print and view load results. Hit preview, and it's going to give me the answers or the calculations that I'm looking for so I can start doing the air conditioning layout. 6.8 tons. They don't sell something that's 6.8 tons, and they don't sell. I said earlier that they go in half-inch increments up to 5 tons, and it started at 1.5. You really can't buy a half-ton unit or a 1-ton unit. The smallest one you can buy is 1.5, and then a 2-ton, a 2.5, a 3, 3.5, and 4, and from 4 goes to 5. There's no 4.5-ton unit. So if you have 4.3 tons, you're going to have to buy a 5-ton unit. After 5 tons, it goes by 2.5. So if you have more than 5 tons, you have to buy a 7.5-ton unit. And then it jumps to 10. From 10, it jumps to 12.5, then to 15, then to 20, and from 20 to 30, and it just goes crazy after that. But after that, you really shouldn't use one single unit. You probably can split it into 2. So what happened in this space is different. It's still 57 and 24. That's like 81. And out of that, out of 81,000, we had about 20,000 of fresh air and about 24,000 of people. I'll save this as HP2 here, and we'll be done. After this, I might do another example that's a restaurant or something like that, just to show some things that don't show up here. I'll hit save here. I'll be able to exit our block load program, close it. Now I'm ready to start putting supply registers, return registers, rooftop units, exhaust fans, and things into these spaces. Now that I know how much air I need to put in here. I'll come back to this video so you can see my face and shot it down. Example number 2, part 4B. Part 4B of example number 2. Check it out.